live from the drama-free true crime destination, bringing you past the headlines, straight to the core of justice, where the truth stands firm and the story is set in stone. This is the final word.
And we are live. The final word. I'm Ernest Bethea, the last boss. So good to have you joining me tonight. And might be a short edition, but a hopefully good one because I only have 3 tonight. And I promoted it a cross country trip and started work down to Florida, head west to the Aloha State of Hawaii. So what am I bringing you? Let's find out. Winning statement this evening. Here we go. Tonight we're not staying. We're not staying in one state. We're not even in one category of crime. We're taking a trip. We're going from the old base, Massachusetts, to the Sunshine State of Florida, Hawaii. And every stop, different angle of how justice works, how people, and how the system responds. From Massachusetts, where prosecutors 17-year-old Arjun Aravind didn't act out violently. He researched it. As he used GPT to express critical ideas and or fantasy stories about his own family before his mother and 4 dead in their home. A teen, a stolen car, and a family shattered. As we speak right now, the just held Aravind and scheduled a probable cause hearing for September 11th. Now let's travel down to 95, and where a jury needed less than an hour, less normal lunch break, to convict Joseph Killens of kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and attempting to murder a DoorDash driver. Killens insisted the victim was his girlfriend, spun a story that unraveled under cross-examination, and erupted in court by lying before. Of course, the jury did not have a word of it. Now he's facing life in prison. And finally, we go out to Hawaii, where Dr. Gerhard Koenig, who was convicted of attempted for attacking his wife on a hike, is back in court, but not for sentencing. He's back in court for an appeal. His attorneys understood the instructions, especially social media, that they didn't believe he intended. The judge, citing the necessity of deliberation but acknowledging its complexity, is ordering those jurors to return. The judge said, mistakes happen, but correcting them is part of the system's duty. So there you go. Three cases and 3 very different portraits of violence, accountability, and the fragile machinery of justice. Ladies and gentlemen, to the final word. Again, it's so good to have you all here on a Friday night, and we got this short lineup just for you. I am going to go ahead and get this thing set and prepare prepare the face story. All right. And there's our first defendant for this evening. This is Arjun Aravind. This is the very first case I was making reference to. Here's his article. Prosecutors say a teenager triggering his mother and her brother made disturbing online searches with the help of AI about killing his family. 17-year-old Arjun Aravind pleaded not guilty on Thursday to charges of murder, assault and battery with a deadly weapon. The teen, wearing a white t-shirt, as you can see in the photo, stood silently during the hearing as he looked around the room. Prosecutors said that Aravind's father called the Acton Police Department on August 11th when a tutor came to the house reported that they were unable to get inside. When Aravind's father couldn't reach anyone despite multiple attempts, he had to do a well-being check at his home. Officers who arrived at the house said the interior garage door was open. When they went inside, they found Aravind's 14-year-old brother dead on the first floor. Search of the home revealed his mother was dead in the basement. In court, prosecutors said officers at the scene saw signs of a visible and violent struggle, and his car was missing. While both victims suffered obvious trauma, prosecutors said, their cause is still pending by the medical examiner. Aravind was taken into custody hours later after police found him inside his mother's stolen vehicle, parked in nearby Wayland, Massachusetts. News conference announced arrest. Middlesex County District Attorney Marion Ryan said the preliminary investigation into what happened revealed that the defendant had been demonstrating concerning behavior recently, including using the internet and ChatGPT to make searches for theoretical ideas or fantasies regarding the killing of his family. Aravind's attorney, Deborah DeWitt, agreed to have the teen held without bond, but asked the judge to order a mental evaluation. When the judge asked whether the evaluation would be for his current competency or for criminal responsibility, DeWitt answered, "That's to be determined, Your Honor." Prosecutors said Aravind had been evaluated and cleared to come to court after receiving medical attention for injuries. The judge scheduled Aravind's probable cause hearing for September 11th. Aravind is facing additional charges relating to the vehicle juvenile court. Those proceedings to the public. Wow. Of all the people use ChatGPT and to use it to ideas to obliterate your I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and admit this now. Now for myself, I use use Microsoft Copilot and at times Gemini just to help get these shows off the ground, whether recorded or going live. This is got to be the most disturbing thing to do. I mean, I've already asked myself many times why I want to kill his parent and vice versa. But to take it to this extent, and yeah, let me go ahead and take it off because I'm already glaring through the ring light. This true crime thing since 22. And a lot of the cases like this one still get to me. It still gets me to why are we doing this? Why are we still at the point we ask the question, why are kids killing parents? Why are parents killing kids? All because for another. It baffles my mind. I don't know about anybody else. And on top of that, this one is trying to come up with us through ChatGPT. I have an idea. And part of the article is right to back me up on this one. Check the man's head. Find out exactly what wires crossed wrong. What has given this young man the very point to not only is but two, that what would to get his ideas, theoretical as it may be, to get those theoretical ideas, ChatGPT. If you have any comments on this, maybe you have an explanation, and you want to then enforcement, those mental health can come up with an idea as to what could have prompted this kid to go as far as he did. In the comments, I'm more happy to take them. Just believe I will respond back, because as much as I've read this, As much as I've over and over again, it makes zero sense. All right, let's go to the justice serve file. We're gonna set this up, and you are a look at this defendant, Joseph. Come on, there you go. Right. And this this one of those. In a way, it's kind of like a blink and you miss it kind of deal. All right, you see Joseph Killings in front of you. Here's what happened in his case. I said this one's for the justice serve file. We are in the Sunshine State of Florida. We are in Tampa. The jury took less than 30 minutes to convict a man of kidnapping and sexually assaulting a DoorDash driver, despite the defendant's claim he was actually in a relationship with the victim. 41-year-old Joseph Killings, guilty on all, including with sexual battery, armed kidnapping, and attempted first-degree murder for attacking the victim while she was trying to deliver a pizza on April 18, 2023. Immediately after the jury was let out of the courtroom, Killings had to be restrained after beginning to yell, "She's lying." Judge Leanne Gowdy ordered deputies in a holding cell, and he watched the remainder of the proceedings remotely. Killings took a witness stand on Thursday as the sole for the defense, and testified earlier this week that the defendant held her at gunpoint and forced her to drive to an apartment with oral sex on. The defendant, who had felony convictions and convictions for crimes involving dishonesty, told the jury that he had actually been with the victim for several months and arranged to meet her in the incident. When she actually seen me, she ran up and screamed, and she put her arms around my neck and her legs wrapped around my waist, and I held a little bit with my two hands, placing left and right buttocks, and carried her a little bit, Killings testified. He said he couldn't sit in the front seat because there were too many water bottles in the car. So he sat behind the victim in the driver's seat. He got to his grandma's house, where he disposed of the bottles before getting back into the car. Killings state then he told the victim, "I don't want to be with you no more." But she begged him to stay, and he agreed, eventually falling asleep in the car. Killings said when he woke up, they were at an apartment complex, and the victim chose to perform oral sex on him. Anybody in their right mind ain't finna hold somebody at gunpoint and force them to perform oral sex on them, he said. That'd be kind of crazy. Now watch this, folks. This is where this is part of the unraveled for him. Assistant State Attorney Jessica Covertier pressed Killings to admit he had forced him. Covertier asked, "And you use your right hand to force her head further down on your penis?" Killings said, "No, left hand." Covertier said, "Thank you for correcting. So left hand to force her head down further on your penis." Killings, yes. I could just end the article right here. I can just end the article right here, but there's a little something extra we all need to know. Investigators testified earlier in the trial that the victim's actual girlfriend, who had been on the phone with her while she was delivering the pizza, was able to track her location. The victim's girlfriend and the girlfriend's twin sister arrived armed with a baseball bat. Prosecutors said that when they confronted Killens, he shot the girlfriend's sister in the head. But Killens said he was actually the victim and that the sexual assault victim's girlfriend had arrived with a gun. She tried to shoot me, but she messed up and shot her sister, Killens testified. When Courvoisier challenged Killens' account, he yelled, "You telling a lie!" Killens was also convicted on a charge of robbery after attacking a woman in Plex the next. He denied those charges as well, saying, "I did not rob her because I did not see her." Like literally did not see her. Killens faces a life sentence. Now, I'm looking at this man's photo, and I can already see that there is something off about him. I can already see that there's something off about them. And the ASA, the assistant state attorney, did a masterful job in putting this guy right there to admit to what he did. But if you're still not convinced as to how he got, then let me share with you the testimony from his case. And yes, the title you see right before you says it all. Attack suspect takes a stand with wild claims. Check this out, and I'll be right back with you.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Killens, you can be seated. All right, I see that you have the microphone adjusted appropriately. Please do what you've heard me tell all the other witnesses to do. Speak loudly into that microphone so that we can all hear what you have to say. And just like I've asked everybody else, tell us how to spell your first and last name.
Joseph Killens. J-O-E-H. Last name Killens. K-I-L-I-N-S.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Killens.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Killens, I'm going to need your voice to be up a little bit loud. Rich, can you help him out and move the
I didn't want to
microphone?
talk I didn't want to talk real loud, but
No,
I can do it though. Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead backwards. Sorry.
No problem, Your Honor. You've been convicted of 9 felonies, correct? You've been convicted of 3 crimes of dishonesty, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell us what happened that day.
Day.
Against you.
Well, that day it was like in 18th. I made a phone call to Harris. I told her we need to talk. So she said, "I want to pick up a pizza." I said, "Well, okay." She said, "We're over here by the motel by International Mall." Based on I am very familiar over there by that. Well, what motel are you going to? Because there's 2 motels right in front of International Mall. Give me the name, and I could tell. She gave me the name, and I said that'll be the one that is directly across the street from International Mall. I said by the time I will be there. So when she pulled up, walked towards her car, she actually seen me. She ran up and screamed, and she screamed. She put her arm around my neck and her wrapped her legs around my waist, hold her up a little bit with my two hands, placing on the right side of her buttocks, and a little bit more over to where her vehicle was, and rested my back on the back of her vehicle, stood in front of me. And if I look directly at Outback Steakhouse in my head, that'll be the pool right there. Me and her was talking to right there where we was. So I said, I don't want to be all day talking. So she on front seat. I was finna get in the passenger seat, but when I put all the water bottles right flow, that's what made me get in the back, right directly behind her. So I said, let's go to my grandmother's house, and I take those water bottles and throw them in my grandmother. That's what I did. We get in my grandmother's house, take the water bottles out, not all of them. Just, it was like about 4 or 5 on the floor. And I throw the rest of them in my grandmother garbage can, put my grandmother garbage can back up where it was. Then I sat in the car for a little minute. Her first attack was right there in front of my when I calmed her down. I took my right hand and rubbed it on her chest and said, calm down, baby. Just breathe. Calm down. And as I'm saying that, I'm taking my right hand, rubbing on her chest, and her to calm down. Then I unrolled window, turned the AC on, or blast and stuff. So I'm in front of my grandmother's house, and at first, that's when I first told her, I said, listen, I don't want to be with you no like that. This is, first met you, I told you, we just gonna have, this is just gonna be like this, no strange attachments. So when I left to go to my grandmother's front door, before I even walked on the vehicle, I with her to tiny country. I said, wow. Working like that. So she asked me again, and she said, I'm right with me. I said, okay. Now, this is what I'm finna tell you now. I'm finna go to sleep. When I get in the vehicle, I just to the seat, laid back, and I went to sleep. If you want me to repeat that, adjusted his seat back so I could went to sleep. And that's when I went to sleep. And I was all the way until she hit me on the left side of my leg. Because I'm a hard sleeper, and basically slamming on brakes. And seat was adjusted for a person to be very relaxed.
Okay, what happened next?
Then we got to the apartment. When we got apartments, went all the way to the back. She backed her car in. She oil sets on me. Hey, stowed up in the center of my lap. I took the jacket from the back seat, cleaned myself off, and no let. I wasn't all this throw up, just center my hands and my ejaculation in the center. Anybody in their right mind ain't finna hold somebody at gunpoint and then force them to perform oil sets on them. That'd be kind of crazy. And I mean, I was sitting there, like I say, by a good little minute after that, and I seen the black car pull up. When I seen she pulls up, she get out. NSD was on the passenger side. She gets out. She comes my side. YSD goes on Harris's side. So when she was on Harris's side, she said, man, what me and you done talked about? I said, man, listen, man, I told you one time, man, No disrespect to the ladies. I said, I told you one time how much y'all gay thing going on, but can't do what a man can do. So me and her heard. She pulled out a gun that was in her pocket, and I specifically, when seeing it, I noted what it was. It's all crack grip. And he pointed at me. She's mostly under the tree, directly at me. Her first fire was at, that's how NSD gets shot. How she gets shot because she shoot me, but she met up and shot right here. It went through the window and shot. I turns around and shoot back towards that building. How her car was backwards, not front. That's in front of the car. I'm going behind. How the car is back then.
Describe the gunfire. What happened after the gunfire?
They ran.
Okay. What did you do?
What I did, I ran and shot towards the apartments. I'm trying to dodge that because I didn't want to get shot and nothing like that. Besides that, I ain't do nothing else. I didn't shoot nobody. I didn't rob nobody. I didn't force nobody in no car.
Okay. To clarify, when you said that you shot, did you mean you shot a gun or you ran in that direction?
I ran. I ain't shoot nothing. Oh yeah, that's that. I ran. Excuse my term. I didn't shoot nothing. I ran.
Okay. Eventually, you stopped.
I stopped running when I got through that building. Right, I was completely out of that breezeway.
What did you do next?
After that, I walked around for a minute, and then I went back. The car was at. I didn't see nothing like nothing. I made a phone call to my dog Jack. I said, "Hey, you need to come pick me up, man. I'm way across over here, and I need you to come get me." And he was like he was on his way. He never came. I finally went ahead and caught the city bus back over to West Tampa.
What time was that?
It's been a while. I forgot.
Okay.
I went and sat at the bus stop. But I down and I did walk over in the and before I even called Jack, I was looking for this white dude named Ice.
So were you trying to find White Boy Ice before you called Jack or after you called Jack?
Before I called Jack.
Is there anything else you want to let the jury know about what occurred that night?
Only thing I want to say is I did not shoot no gun. I shot that gun is and the reason she shot that gun because me and her had altercations about Harris. I told Harris to be with her no more. Harris told me exactly, quoting word from Carr. She said, "If I can't have you, ain't nobody gonna have you."
Okay. Is there anything else you want to let the jury know? There's an allegation that you robbed. Did that occur?
That part, I did not rob nobody for no back. They take the interpreter that I said on the phone when I was talking to my girl, and I did not rob her because I did not see her. Like Literally, I see her.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
All right. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was just under direct examination. Direct examination. Now, I wish I had a good sound effect for that testimony, but I can go ahead and just put it simply like this. Dan Rebikoff from the Steve Wilkos show, when someone failed a lie detector test, he'd be the quickest one to tell you this. A person would fail a lie detector test. The mouth can lie, but the brain can't. This guy was searching and hunting a whole time for everything he wanted to say in the sky. Which brings me to a line that I want to use for a minute. If you were watching like I was, then all of a sudden you had thinking like back years ago. Like he once did where he said, "I can tell you're lying, cause when you're replaying, you stutter, 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 stutter. I can tell you're lying, cause when you're replaying, you stutter, stutter, stutter." And that's exactly what he was doing the whole time. Eyes just dancing back and forth, or trying to just reaching for whatever he can pull to spin his narrative. But like a cross-examination just unraveled the entire story, which is why he was found guilty, which is why he's staring down a life sentence. And what I say for him is good luck to him. He is definitely going to meet it. He's definitely going to. All right. Now, I've got one story to get you all hooked up for the weekend, and I will be back tomorrow with Saturday Bites, likely a pre-recorded Saturday night event, because true crime does not take any time. You know I do. All right. This is the one. Well, remember the Gerhard Koenig case, and I came in and dropped the verdict. Koenig is back in court, pushing for a brand new trial. Let me do this, guys. Let me pull in case you forgot this guy. Give me just a moment. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because the shot you're looking at right now is him in court as of today in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. Here's the article. An anesthesia victim trying to kill his wife on a hike in Hawaii appeared in court on Friday as his attorneys pushed for him to get a new trial. A jury found 47-year-old Gerhard Koenig guilty of attempted manslaughter based on extreme mental or physical or emotional, disturbance. The defendant had initially faced charges of second-degree attempted murder, but the jury acquitted him on that charge. Immediately after his trial, jurors gave interviews to the media about their experience, in which they said that they did not believe Dr. Koenig intended to kill his wife. The defense said in its motion for the conviction to be overturned. The verdict just cannot stand, Koenig's attorney Thomas Otake said at Friday's hearing. There must have been a unanimous agreement to guilty on attempted murder before they could even consider extreme and emotional distress manslaughter. We all know that. Otake said there was no way to know whether the jury intentionally disregarded Judge Paul Wong's instructions on the law or whether they were confused. Mistakes happen. Misunderstandings happen. And that's not a failure of the system. What's a failure of the system is when we learn about that, if we don't take steps to correct it. Erwin Kellepiloli, an investigator with the prosecutor's office, testified about his attempts to talk to the jury foreperson who signed an affidavit for the defense saying the jury did not unanimously believe that Dr. Koenig had an intent to kill his wife. Kellepiloli testified that he had difficulty reaching the foreperson. Finally made contact with her, she said she didn't want to talk to anybody from the prosecutor's office. She further relayed that she had been ordered by the judge to speak to the media, never wanted to meet the foreperson, and was upset that people had been contacting her and her family on social media. At Koenig's trial, his now ex-wife testified that the defendant attacked her while they were on a trip to Maui to celebrate their birthday. At the time, she said their marriage was troubled after she had what she termed an emotional affair with a married co-worker who lived in Washington State. The victim described attacks, saying he tried to push her off a cliff before beating her head several times with a large rock. Koenig testified in his own defense, claiming the victim attacked pushed him off the cliff after an argument about her co-worker. I just remember kind of standing at the edge there and looking over the edge and just kind of still in thought about everything that had just happened. And then at the shove, and I was pushed over the edge, he told the jury. Prosecutor Joel Garner argued on Friday that there was no reason to further investigate the jury's thinking because it delivered a clear and any evaluation of the verdict would be a violation of state law. Because of strict laws protecting the sanctity of jury deliberations, neither the defense nor the prosecution called any of us to testify at Friday's hearing. But Wong said the law made it clear that it would be necessary. I think I'm handcuffed as to what this particular case requires me to do, he said. I understand the objection of both parties, but I think that is required of the court, unfortunately, and the court will make that attempt to get these jurors back. Wong scheduled a further hearing on the issue for September 11th. In the meantime, Koenig remains in custody without bail. So what we have here, possible misunderstanding over jury instructions. That's the case made Jump Street. The those alleged, I'm say alleged, say again, but not all this um, attempted already he's been he was second murder should have covered the attempted manslaughter charge as well. Plus, with this misunderstanding, it's a misunderstanding. Will Gerhard Koenig another trial? I guess that it rests in the hands of the same jurors that of second degree attempted murder and convicted him of manslaughter, attempted manslaughter. So you can see until September 11th how what happens, whether go get a new trial. You know what? I'm in a good mood right now. I'm gonna drop in one more story that I didn't think of today, but somebody back into the headlines that nobody suspect that I would. Mhm. Give me just one more moment, and all right. Okay, this will be my last story of the evening, and let me take you back to this young lady. Remember her? Well then, like I normally would do, let me introduce to you, let me introduce to some and reintroduce to others. This is Donna Adelson. This is the woman who was convicted of being behind the attack on her former son-in-law, FSU professor Dan Markel. Now, the reason I'm bringing it into the headlines is because a message is delaying the appeal patriarch of plotting her son-in-law's murder for hire. And so we've already cross country, went from Massachusetts and out. Who would out for this story, right? Here's what went down. Attorneys for a septuagenarian convicted of plotting the murder of her former son-in-law say they need more time to file an appeal in her case because the defendant suffered a medical emergency. 76-year-old Donna Adelson was the fifth person convicted in the death of FSU professor Dan Markel, who was gunned down in 2014. Adelson, who maintains throughout her trial, Adelson to hire members of the King's gang to carry out the killing. Charlie is also convicted in the case, as well as his girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, and hitmen Luis Rivera and Sigfredo Garcia. Donna Adelson filed a notice of appeal shortly after a 2025 conviction, but has not yet filed a brief outlining the reasons she believes her conviction should be overturned. That brief is was due on today, but her attorneys have filed a motion requesting an extension, stating that the defendant suffered a medical emergency while in custody. Court TV obtained a copy of the sealed motion, which says that Donna Adelson called her attorney on August 4th to report that she had been seen by medical staff because she was in excruciating pain due to an abscess on her arm that was the size of a tennis ball. Donna Adelson reported the medical staff told her they suspected it was MRSA and gave her only an antibiotic and a recommendation to apply a hot compress to her arm. On August 7th, Donna Adelson, reporting an emergency, again asked to be seen by medical staff and was admitted for treatment and given an IV. The motion filed by her attorney states that they have been able to with the defendant since then, despite stalls during the week. The plan was to go over the brief with the defendant before filing it on the due date of August 14th, which is today, because they have been unable to speak with Donna Adelson, and counsel does not know how long she will stay in medical or the seriousness of her condition if it turns out to be a case of MRSA. It's clear when she will discuss the brief. Prosecutors filed no reply to the motion. The Court of Appeal did not issue a ruling granting or denying the request on Thursday. Donna is serving her life sentence at correction according to prison records. So what we have here is a medical emergency, and the possibility of Donna Adelson being SOL'd when it comes to this appeal. Even if you're depending on the severity, even if you're sick, you need to have somebody. You gotta have your attorney be able to talk to you to figure out exactly what you want to have done, what you need to have said when it comes to filing your appeal. Now this is coming from a layman. I am not a legal eagle. I am not an attorney. I am not a lawyer. I do this, like I said, I've only done this true crime thing since 2022. I don't have a JD. I just offer my opinion. But I can say this, and I can say this with brutal honesty. If Donna Adelson medical emergency is a holdup, if they get this extent, talk to her immediately, find out all the reasons and all that will put this thing into perspective, so she at least can have a shot at an appeal. Shot at a new trial. She has plenty of opportunity now to back that up. Today's the 14th. This is when when all that was due. Next week is a brand new week. Will they be able to get conversation in? Will they be able to get that child? Like all our good cases, we wait and see. Now I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up with my closing argument for the original cross-country trip, not the route back to Florida, for the first three cases. So the young man in Joseph Killens in Florida and Garrett Koenig in Hawaii tell us? Well, it tells us that justice in America isn't just one thing. It's not one courtroom, one judge, one verdict, one headline. It's a patchwork. A coast-to-coast mosaic of human choices and legal consequences. Since a family is gone and a community has left, teenagers' digital curiosity turns to real world. In Florida, a jury saw through chaos, theatrics, and delivered clarity in almost about the same time, a piece 30 minutes. And in Hawaii, a judge, the hardest part of the justice system. What's in the verdict and the jurors' later words don't seem to match. Different states, different crimes, different questions. But there's only one truth. Justice is not automatic. Justice is not, nor is ever easy. And justice is definitely perfect. Or you can bet that justice is pursued. Tonight's cases remind us that the is always moving. Sometimes swiftly, sometimes cautiously. So back to the jury room, but always to the same destination. Accountability, truth, and protection of the public. That's going to do it for tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining me. I thank everyone for rewatching this. I know it's only been an hour, but it's been a good hour. 3 stories, 4 if you count. Come down to Adelson, a cross-country trip down I-95 from Massachusetts, Florida, and then all the way out of Hawaii and back to the United States. I will have this listed. I mean, you're on YouTube as is. That's not a problem. But I will have this shown again on my Patreon if you're interested in recapping this. Now, I know the video quality is gonna suck due to the fact that I'm on 720 right now, but it's all right. I'll figure out that's not gonna be a problem. But if you're still interested and you get on, go to Patreon, BR True Crime. I will indeed have this story there for you. All right. And again, I will be posting up to find this story is not just on YouTube, but I'll have it all set to. I'll have it linked to Instagram as well. But that's gonna do it for me here. Again, like I said, pre-recorded Saturday night main event. Don't you worry. A lot more Bethea'S Byte Reloaded to come. I'm Ernest Bethea, the Last Outlaw. Thank you much for joining me on this cross-country trip into the justice system. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what this is, right? This is Bethea'S Byte. And it's reloaded. I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for joining me here at the drama-free true crime destination. Please be sure to follow Bethea'S Byte Reloaded all over social media and support the channel through PayPal and Cash App. You can get your true crime news right here with no gimmicks, no drama, and no BS. This is Bethea'S Byte, and it's reloaded.